Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the Price of Fame. So now, wait, I know some of you found the intro a little different tonight. Let me explain. I have no idea what's going on. All of a sudden, the platform that we're using is not allowing the music to play. And that's like 5 minutes before the show. But yo, that's the Price of Fame. But we have to go on. We have to push through. In fact, the guest tonight, you will see tonight that she's also pushing through her not difficult times, her busy times. You know, there's no time to race, no time to hold back, and we just got to push through. All right, so let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Price of Fame. My name is Lunga Tshuka, and I'll be your host. For those of you tuning in for the first time, the Price of Fame is a podcast that focuses on the real stories about the journey to success, from the moment or realization of one's gift or purpose. And in these conversations, we aim to shed the light on the hardships, the sacrifices, and the mindsets that our guests have to overcome to achieve the current position in their career. And these are their stories. Now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's guest went from winning the presenter search on SABC3 to becoming a co-host on South Africa's award-winning breakfast show called the Expresso Breakfast Show. And she also became an award-winning traffic presenter on the FlashDrive on KFM alongside Carl Wastie weekdays. Now, if you ask me, she's got a mindset that all she does is win, 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 no matter what. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the screen the champion, the winner. She goes by the name of Zoë Brown.
Hey, Lunga, what an intro. Actually, I'm surprised here. There's someone here that's going to say hello.
That was an epic intro. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
100%.
Thank you. Oh, Carl, it's Carl. I didn't even notice him. I was like, I'm like, who is this guy? Oh, Carl, what's up, bro? How are you doing? How are you doing? Why aren't you answering my call, Carl? Why aren't you answering my call?
What call are you talking about?
My call, Carl. I wanted you to be a guest on the Price of Fame, Carl. Where you at? Now in front of all the people. Where you at, Carl?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But this is Zoe's moment. Why am I here? I must go home. I love you guys. Bye.
Cheers. I'm just kidding, Carl. I'm just kidding. I'm going to get you soon, though. Zoe, thank you so much for joining and being a guest on the Price of Fame. My intro to you is my gift to you, but I believe that this episode is all about you blessing us with your gifts and your amazing story and your journey, and we hope to learn from you tonight. So how are you doing? How's your evening going?
I'm doing good. As you can see, I'm still at work. I just finished my radio show at 7 o'clock. It's quite tough, like everything going on at the moment, trying to juggle moving house and unpacking and doing everything that needs to happen. But I'm doing good. I'm generally doing good. So thank you so much for asking.
I'm very well, thank you so much. I mean, like you're saying, with everything going on in our personal space and all the crazy things going on outside, like, yes, we will take the jab. No, we won't take the jab and everything. And, and just like level 1 now, we're going back up and then the restrictions, everything, it's just like a roll of the dice. Indeed, today's day, you have to just be doing good. You can't be like, I know who's got time for negativity? Nobody's got time for negativity. So you just got to be good, got to roll with the punches and evolve. I mean, that's one thing that this pandemic has taught us, evolve and move forward, hey? Otherwise, you're left behind. You know what I'm saying? So actually, speaking of that, how has 2021 actually been treating you with all of this craziness that I've just mentioned, the up and down and all of that stuff, and you still holding your position? You still have a beautiful smile, so which means that you've been fighting through. So I'd love to hear, how's the year been for you?
Thank you. Well, you know what? It's been a big year in terms of challenges and growth that's taken place. So I think I am grateful for the year I've had. I always joke and say after heartache comes a new opportunity. But it kind of happened at the start of the year, and I think that just kind of pushed me to reevaluate my life in the sense that I I kept living life thinking there's going to be another opportunity, and I never really settled down in Cape Town. I never really made Cape Town home, and I kept, whenever I spoke about home, I would always refer to Durban because that's where mom and dad live. And a big thing for me this year was really just to decide to settle down and plant roots and make Cape Town home. And now I refer to Cape Town as home. And it also has helped me to really, fight for my worth because I'm now planning on staying. I'm not looking for an out. And it's a big year. I mean, it's not an easy thing. It has really made me feel a bit grounded, a little bit more secure in who I am and the direction that life is heading now for me. So I'm open-minded to all the challenges that life throws at you. But I think a big year for me in terms of settling down roots and really just finally deciding to call Cape Town home.
Yes. Awesome stuff. So where are you originally from if you're not from Cape Town?
Well, I feel like I've been all over, but I grew up in Cape Town and then our family moved to Durban. So I did high school in Durban. Mom and dad still lives in Durban. My brother's there. So my best friend lives there. So I have a lot of roots that belong to Durban, but I have now outgrown it and I'm back in Cape Town. And I've been here for quite a while because I studied at Stellenbosch University. And then after that, work started and never really left Cape Town.
Yeah. Awesome. That's so awesome. I mean, it's such a success story. After studying, walking into opportunities, and the opportunities just keep you going, and you just keep on growing from there. So, it's not easy. It doesn't always happen that way for a lot of people. So, luckily to you, you've got that strike, and you kept on going. And also with your journey, you didn't just do it for yourself. You did it to uplift your people and your family. And now there's so many people that admire you, especially where you come from, and they probably like, oh, I want to be like Zoë one day. So actually, let's take it back to where it all started, with you. Did you see this in your future? Did you see like the position that you are in right now? Let's take it back to the very, very young Zoë when the bug bit, when you're like, oh my word, this is something I want to do. What were you like? Who were you?
So I think the fact that I ended up in media has really surprised a lot of people because I am naturally more on the quiet side. I am a little bit more on the shy side. And I always had this dream of being a Miss South Africa. That was one of my dreams. And I'll do it when when I'm finishing up my degree. So I always knew I was going to go study, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to go study. And I took a gap year after high school and I came back and studied at Stellenbosch University. I did international relations. And I always said, okay, when I graduate, just before the year ends, the academic year, I'm going to try for Miss South Africa. And I tried and nothing really happened. And I kind of had to ask myself, well, why did I want to win Miss South Africa so badly? What is it about the platform? And I realized it's more than just the glitz and glam that comes with a title like that. It's the access you have to be able to really make a difference. And I realized quite then, like in university, that this is where I want to be, is to be in a platform where I can make a difference. And it doesn't have to come through a crown. It doesn't have to come through a title like Miss South Africa. And even though I was at campus radio, I'll tell you now how I got onto that. But even though I was at campus radio, I shortly soon after that realized that, radio is also a platform. And there are so many other ways where you can create your own platform. And it doesn't have to come in the form of a crown or a sash. Because only one girl gets that title. And, each year there's a lucky girl that gets it. And the rest of us will need to create our own platforms. So that's kind of where the direction of, the humanitarian work comes from. And how I ended up on radio was because I did international relations. I have always been fascinated with news reading and news anchoring. So I always thought, okay, this degree, I'm going to take it into journalism. And when I did a little bit of research, the journalism course that they offered at Stellenbosch was more writing, and that's not my strong point. I want to be more on the what would you call it, like the digital side. I want to be on TV and radio, like news anchoring on that side. And that's how I got into radio. I thought, well, let me just get my foot in the door. I started off at campus radio, and it wasn't easy. It was literally midnight No, I lie. When I was in Boston, it was 3 a.m. till 6 a.m. I did the graveyard shift on a Monday. And then when I joined KFM, my first show, and I did it for quite a few months, was midnight till 4 a.m. on a Saturday and a Sunday. So it came with a lot of sacrifice, a lot of loss of
Yeah.
lack of. But that's kind of been the radio journey. I made the decision to go into radio. And while I was in radio, a few people have asked me, like, is presenting something you're interested in? I'm like, I haven't really thought of it. And, a few people kept asking the same question. I thought, well, maybe I should consider it. And that's when I was like, okay, after I finish my honors degree, I'm going to try my hand at TV presenting. And I did that at the
Yeah.
end, in fact, the start after I've graduated. And that's how I ended up on Presenter Search on 3, which got me my job at Expresso. So I always joke and tell people I won my job. But I ended up on TV. And through that, you work you work the graveyard, you work the crazy hours, you build up your self-esteem. And enough people ask me, have you ever considered acting? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And enough people ask me that, and I just did my first movie, which is coming out next year.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like, I mean, just for interest's sake. I mean, like it sounds like like you just like with someone tell you, hey, have a look at that, and you actually like excel in all of those things. I mean, and it sounds like all of these things, like someone planted this idea in your head, and you actually just ran with it. Now, for Zoe's sake, I mean, out of Zoe's own magical box, is there any other passion that you feel like you have? You would like if you wouldn't be doing this, you would so be excelling in something else. Or is there something that you still want to try that you have in your little passion box?
I have quite a few. So, like for me, I have this love for DIY. I have a love for animals. I have a love for children. I love numbers. I mean, believe it or not, but my highest marks in matric was maths and accounting. So I do. There will be some backups if this doesn't work out. But
Yes.
it I joke and say I won my job, and I might not have dreamt this for myself, but I always said when I studied international relations, I said to myself, I'm doing this degree to prepare myself for something that doesn't exist yet. And
Yeah.
that for me is the theme throughout my university, and also for all the hard work that you do at the crappy hours that you do it. I had that mentality of I'm preparing myself for something that doesn't exist yet. Now I can say I'm preparing myself for a TV show that doesn't exist yet, or a movie role that doesn't exist yet, or an opportunity that will come my way. And I kind of think that's why I've always been a little bit more on the open-minded side. So if people suggest something or they plant that seed, I try and nurture it and see if something grows from it.
That's so cool. And like I can relate to that so much because like I did Kyokushin karate for like about 6 years, right? And when I walked into the dojo, so I'm not a fighter. I'm not a fighter. Let's just put that out there, right? So I love martial arts as a kid growing up. I always used to imitate martial arts, that kind of thing. So when I found out that there was a dojo that is close to where I live, and it was like affordable, it was like 100 rand a month. I was like, of course I'm gonna join. And then I did my first session. I told my sensei, I'm like, all I'm here for is a black belt. I don't want to fight anybody. I don't want to kick nobody. I just want to learn how to do the skills and a black belt. And that's it. That was the goals that I had for myself. And in that 6 year journey that I walked with him, he pushed me to doing so many things. He pushed me to enter tournament. He pushed me to do some, and because of him planting that seed in me, like I've achieved my black belt, but I've achieved so much more. I've got my SA colors, I've got trophies, I've got medals, certificates, things that I've never achieved in my life, and I never thought I would ever achieve because I'm not into sports. So I thought I'll never ever obtain these things. And this man planted the seed and pushed me, and I ran with it. So that's why I say I can kind of relate when you're saying like when people plant the seed and you just run with it. And that's a good lesson, and that's always something if I like I ever talk or if I ever speak to like have like a motivational speak or whatever. I'm like sometimes listen to people. Sometimes they see potential in you that you don't see in yourself. So sometimes you just need to go with that.
Yeah, and it's also, I think it's also so important to show you that it's so valuable, and really, I don't want to use the word important again, but it is important to watch who you have around you and who your circle of friends or
Absolutely.
people are, because they influence you. And it's, for me, it's been a big thing. Is my circle is small, but they are solid. And I'm very careful with who I invest my time with because I have so little of it for myself.
Yes. Yes. And I mean, like it's not an easy lesson to learn. You have to bump your head first, you know. You only realize afterwards that certain people are not for you, then they don't really support you. And I think the shocking part is when you realize it's so close, like maybe your close friends, when it's coming from a family member, and you're like realize, oh my word, like you're actually not part of my circle, you're not part of my team, you know. And it's strange that you strangers will sometimes see the best like potential in you and give you the best like comforting motivation and all that stuff. So it's like you're saying your circle is very very important. And it's like if we were to say like we got you on our own, we got you all by ourselves, you know, we would be lying. We would be lying because there so many people, even people that don't even know that we look up to, you know, they also play like roles in our lives and that kind of thing. So briefly, you said that there were so many sacrifices, and I painted the picture now that you were just a winner and you've just been winning, winning, winning. But of course, you have some stories and you have some lessons that have made you a stronger person and made you a wiser person. So could you share some of your sacrifices that you've learned from the most?
Yeah, well, there's been many, time being a big one. So, I sacrifice sleep to work. I would sacrifice a social life to be able to say yes to opportunities. So even though I would work midnight to 4, that meant I couldn't hang out with my friends or go to that cool party or to that really cool concert because I had to work. But working, I knew was going to open opportunities for me and give me like it was going to open doors that will get me to the dreams and ideas and ideals that I have for myself. So I could see the vision in being able to work hard now, knowing that it will pay off eventually, not knowing when. And for me, it's end of the day, so my brain is a bit foggy. But I think what was the question? It was about
Sacrifices. I want to know like any of the sacrifices that you needed to make and like the lessons you've learned from them.
sacrifices, yes. And so apart from the social life, the time, the lack of sleep, those are some of the sacrifices I've had to make. I've had to sacrifice Christmas and family time with my family because radio never stops. I've done a
Yeah.
couple of on a Christmas day. I've done shows on New Year's Day. You miss out on someone's birthday. So time is a big thing you sacrifice. And that's why also your family and your friends, it's so important that it is the right people around you because they understand. And so often you get a last minute opportunity and you want to take it, and you sometimes means you have to bail on someone's baby shower or someone's birthday party. This was pre-COVID, to say yes to a cool work opportunity. So a lot of sacrifice like that. And I think because I've showed up to my family and friends in other ways, it kind of understood the vision, and I wasn't flaky. I wasn't flaky in that regard. But yeah, it comes with a lot of sacrifices. I think to a large extent, my personal life has also taken a massive sacrifice. When it comes to, I've always kept relationships very private. That's something I don't post about, but I'm open to talking about the life lessons I've learned. But that's also come at a sacrifice. I've met some men that are incredible, but they can't handle the hours I choose to work, or there's been a bit of intimidation with the work platform that I'm at. So it's unfortunate, but it is a reality.
Yes, actually, I was gonna actually get into that, but I'm glad you covered it because I'm like, she's talking about friends and all of family and all this stuff, but she's not talking about her love life. I'm gonna catch her there, but you went there, you went there. So actually, I wanted to get into that, and that is so. I mean, that's a reality. I mean, I'm someone in the industry as well, and I've also been with someone who wasn't in the industry, and just like the dynamics of the relationship is so like different because of like you're saying when work opportunities or seeing you at these parties, and then they don't understand really, the sacrifices that you have to make or certain things. I mean, like let's say with acting, you get a role. Let's say your partner is not an actor or is not in the industry. You get a role where you have to be someone else's partner in this role, and you have to kiss and show emotion and affection and all that stuff. And yeah, you're pulling out all the tricks, and the sweet touching that you do with your partner. And then they get jealous, and they're like, I understand it's work, but like, must you touch him like that? Did you have any of those kind of challenges in your relationship where you probably dated someone who's not in the industry, where you always have to kind of explain that, look, this is my lifestyle. This is not me being malicious to you or me being a funny kind of way or whatever. Did you ever have that in your relationships or any relationships like that?
No, because I suppose I'm very selective with who I allow in my life, and you can early on tell whether someone is not secure in themselves, and that for me is something that's very important. I need someone that is comfortable in their own skin and confidently them. And I know there will be moments where they aren't that, but I need someone that is sure of themselves, and most of it doesn't lead to that point. So I haven't had that issue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, whoo, lucky you. Like I say, we're always winning, yeah. Winning in the relationships too. But it's good. You have to choose. You have to choose. You have to know your value. You have to know your worth, and you have to choose correctly. Otherwise, they will teach you. They will teach you in a nasty way. And let's talk about some of the hardships, either from the community or from your household growing up or trying to, like, when you're still carving your diamond, I'm sure there's been some challenges trying to be yourself, just like, move through and navigate. Can you speak about some of those?
Yeah, my parents always get embarrassed when I talk about, the financial struggles our family went through. But for me,
Yeah.
it's not embarrassment. It's actually, sorry, it's a big part of my foundation. It's a big driving force to why I work the hours I work and saying yes to opportunities that would normally,
Yes.
because, our family went when we moved from Cape Town to Durban. We went for my dad's work, and he is an electrical engineer focusing on ship repairs. My mom's a stay-at-home mom, so we were very fortunate to have a mom that was present to, raise the three kids. And once we were in Durban for a short while after, I think all the promises that was made for my dad's new job didn't really come to fruit. And he made the brave decision to step away from the corporate world, away from a big company, and start his own and go on his own adventure. And a good boss is always the last one to get paid. And my dad has a few people that's, instrumental in him being able to do what he does. And that meant, the family had to take a massive financial knock. And I think to a certain extent that also really knocked my self-confidence. It made me unsure of where I wanted to go, because I wasn't sure how big I was allowed to dream. We were so focused on the now. We were so focused on, just getting through this month or getting through the projects immediately at hand. I never thought long term, and that's why I took a gap year, because when it came to the end of my matric year, I was like, what am I going to do next year? I'm not ready to join the workforce, and mom and dad can't afford to have me go study. I was petrified of the idea of a student loan. And that's why I took a gap year. I had some money saved up from a bit of modeling work that I did and waitressing in grade 11 and 12. And that's how I got to go abroad and au pair. But for me, it was, I think coming from a family where, dad was always very generous. We set a goal for ourselves, we worked towards it, and we got it in terms of materialistic things. So if there was something we wanted, we weren't spoiled to just get it, but there was a plan in place. If you do X, Y, and Z, we can work towards getting you that new bike or that new game or whatever it is that we wanted at the time. But we always got it, but we worked for it, and we were appreciative of the things we got. And then all of a sudden, none of that was there. We went from, 2 cars and a work car to not even having a car and having to borrow a car from family friends. And luckily we lived close to school, so I could walk to school. And that affects your self-confidence. You're embarrassed to invite your friends home. You're embarrassed to say yes to events, because now how are you going to get there? Dad's working, he's using the only car we've got. And that really bugged my self-esteem. And I think why also it pushed me to just take a gap year. I wanted to get away from the hardship that we experienced as a family. And I think America really gave me that freedom. It gave me it showed me that working hard, you can earn your own money, and you can stand on your own 2 feet, and you can look after mom and dad. And that's something I think why I work as hard as I do, because I don't ever want to feel what I felt when I was 15 years old.
Yeah, that's so true. And I mean, your story is so real, because I know people too that have experienced that growing up, where they're so used to like mom and dad providing and having everything that they need, not too much, but everything that they need, to going to completely like not being able to see what the next 3 months look like, not being able to see what the rest of the year looks like. and having to make like cut down and so many things. And sometimes the kids don't even understand. I mean, some I feel like they take it the hardest because they because then emotions like embarrassing or feeling ashamed kick in, and it's not even your fault. But you is so ashamed and you embarrassed.
But it's also twofold. I think my mom and dad meant well by trying to protect us, but I wish I was at an age where I should just wish they were straightforward and honest with us to explain the situation to me. I think, you know, there is a level of honesty that was missing growing up. I didn't really understand how dire the situation was. And only years later, when things are better, that in hindsight, we talk about the difficult times and I actually realized, oh my goodness, it was tough. But I also have to share this story for you just to lighten it up because I feel like that topic got very. Dad has always had this obsession with going into a butchery. He appreciates food and like beautiful cut meats. And we have this massive freezer in our garage that's just filled with like, the most exquisite pieces of meat. And we always joke when we eat all the fancy stuff is when we're at our poorest, so that we would eat out of the freezer the food that's already there. And at the time, my mom had to like go buy like the basics at Woolies on her card. So we always joked and said, you know what, when we're at our poorest, we eat like rich people. Gammon for dinner, Woolies milk and cheese and bread. And meanwhile, it's because there was no other money.
That, and I mean that's a beautiful thing, and you'll find that actually a lot with where like in poverty communities, you know, they don't see themselves as poverty. If you actually visit, or like when I used to go sleep at a friend's place, you know, and like I don't want to say that they're struggling or whatever, but like they what I say like less fortunate is a proper term maybe. But when they have a guest over, they still know how to like take out everything and make you feel like amazing, like you're a star, you know. So I love that kind of mentality, you know. It's not like, let's be sad or whatever. Even dad also ma put on a hat and try it before the Christmas, you know. There's no time to be dull or whatever. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And just for like for interest sake, I know people like say don't speak about your goals and don't speak about your dreams and all of that stuff, but just for interest sake, because I know you're someone who keeps evolving, what is the next thing? I mean, you mentioned the humanitarian side of all of those things, you know. What is the next thing like a project that you're probably working on or something that you really, really want to achieve, that you want to see come to fruition?
Let me put it this way, I'm putting it into the universe. So I just tried my first hand at acting and I really enjoyed it. My priority is radio and TV right now. So acting is not something I'll do full time. It will be special projects. That being said, I'll be very selective if opportunities come my way. I can't just assume it will come my way, but I'll be very selective ones I choose to say yes to. But a goal for myself is I would love, and I can see it happening, and I'm hoping it will happen one day, but I really hope that one day I can get an international production, be part of it, and keep my accent. Because it's so frustrating when you have all these incredible South African actors and actresses, and then they sport an American accent. And I'm like,
yes.
so unique is our accent. So I'm going to put that into the universe. I'm hoping to one day get a role that is going to play on international stages, play abroad, but I get to keep my South African accent.
Yeah. Listen, please correct me if I'm wrong.
It doesn't mean no to movie roles where they say you have to have an American accent. I'll do what I have to do, but
Yeah.
goal is to keep my accent and show the world that South Africa has a variety of beautiful accents.
Absolutely. And if they want this American accent, I'll put it on, yo. You can tell me if you want it from Detroit, yo. I'll bring an American accent from Detroit, bro. Anywhere, bro. From the Bronx, bro. Straight up, bro. I ain't hiding, bro.
So I think why I'm also putting that vision in is because I'm terrible at accents. Like the only I do it tends to go country. Like it doesn't sound American. So I always go like from country to Durban. Like the accent is
Yeah. Listen, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you mentioned something about America teaching you a lesson, you know, something. Have you, like, did you do some work in America? Can you tell us a little bit about that experience? Because obviously it was a turning point for you.
It was amazing. I went and au paired in America. So I was a nanny and I was with an American family that treated me like an exchange student. They were very open minded to my ideas and ambitions, and I made so many friends. The kids were very young when I got there, so that's also why I'm like, kids are cute, but I'm not ready for them because I had my hands full, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old at the age of 19. So
Yeah.
I got thrown in the deep end. They were so cute, and I would sing when it was nap time. I would sing them a South African song. Father Jacob. I would sing that to them. And you know what was so beautiful is because I would sing it every day to the two youngest ones when it was nap time, they started learning the words. And
Yeah.
I remember on my day that I had to say goodbye, my host mom was going to drive me to the airport. And I put the kids down for a nap. And that meant, I'm getting emotional now, but that meant when they woke up from their nap, I wasn't going to be there anymore. And I tried saying that to them, and they asked me to sing Father Jacob one last time to them, and I started crying. And it was
Wow.
so beautiful when they finished the words for me, and I'll always, that's always such a special memory to me.
So awesome. And the whole experience.
The whole
Sorry.
was incredible. So I had a family that looked after me. I lived with them. They treated me like an exchange student. I always had a car available to me, gym membership access, pocket money. Like they covered my expenses. I went on a holiday with the family. And in exchange, I was like the big sister to the kids.
Yes,
And I
yes.
coolest friends. I made global friends. And interestingly enough, I went and studied international studies. My host mom also studied international studies, and she ended up taking her degree into business fashion. And that was so fascinating for me is to see, like, she was also a very ambitious woman. Just
Yeah.
to see you can have it both. You can have the career and you can have the beautiful babies and you can travel and, do all these cool things and it's okay.
Yeah. So cool. I mean, I'm sure like was that your first time leaving the country?
Well, going overseas, but I have been to like Mozambique and I haven't left, at the time, I hadn't left Africa, if I can put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, like I know because I was speaking to another guest of mine who's done like a few traveling, especially in his growing up phase, And I was saying like the first time I traveled, when I came back, my mind was so blown with ideas and so many things, and just seeing like how advanced a different place is, all of that, and it just inspired me. Do you feel like like you said, you're traveling and experiencing and all of that whole thing? Do you feel like it's also plays a huge role in propelling you forward in what you do today?
Yeah, and I think that's what I miss. I don't have the confidence just yet to just want to hop on a plane and go. But I miss being able to just go abroad. And it's, you know what, the more you travel, the more you actually realize how beautiful South Africa is. And yes, we have our issues, our socioeconomic issues, and everything else. But everywhere else, they've also got their issues, and it's not just us. And I think whenever you travel, you realize, you know what? We always thought the grass is greener in America or the grass is greener over there, but
Yeah,
actually we have so much like we have so much more. And
yeah.
I love going abroad for traveling trips. And if the work opportunity one day comes to go abroad, but it will never be a permanent thing. I love South Africa.
Yeah.
And yeah, so every time I travel, I just come back with a new appreciation for how beautiful our country is and our
That's so
people.
Yeah, like I want to travel, and I've done a few traveling. I've been to like parts of America, and I've been to Germany for tournament, and like yeah, mostly America, but like I want to travel some more. But even though I spend this time and see amazing things, I always feel like I need to come back to South Africa because I mean, there's always that, like I'm South African man, and there's certain things that you just guys don't have. Yeah, you may have the Eiffel Tower, but you don't have the Chisama. So. And I'm like, my mentor that I have with me, he's traveled and he's worked in so many first world countries. And he said, and he's based in South Africa now. And he says he will give it all away just to be here because of the different dynamics, the people, and so much you can learn. He's like, we have so much to be proud of, and we're rich in. That other countries, they might be first world and all of those other rankings according to whatever, but like we have so much to be proud of, and those other places are lacking it. So he's like, nah, South Africa is the home to be. Speaking of mentors,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, would you say something?
Say I am also very cognizant that not everyone experiences, and I hope that will change because it is a beautiful country, and some areas are not as well looked after or as safe as other areas, but overall, it is a beautiful country.
Absolutely. And like you said, what's happening here is happening everywhere else as well. The grass isn't greener on the other side. They too have their challenges. And that's where we realize that it's a human challenge and not a country challenge. It's not like, oh, there's crime in South Africa. And you go to Brazil, then there's crime there too. And you go to Spain, and there's crime there too. Anything that happens here can happen anywhere else. So, like I was saying, I was jumping onto the mentorship kind of thing. And have you had any mentors along your way, especially with you growing and evolving to so many different things in your path? Have you had mentors along the way, or did you do it all on your own? And is there someone that you're currently mentoring now, or in some kind of way that you do talks and you mentor people?
So I've always been very like, I suppose I've been very blessed to have had strong, powerful women in my life. And for different aspects, I would take different traits from all of these individuals. And they were, with probably not even knowing that, they were my role model or my mentor at that time or that phase in my life. So naturally, mom played a massive role in how I will approach home life and how I approach home life. Then her best friend, Anna May, is also someone that is just such a powerhouse. And her family really looked after our family when we went through our struggles. And she was just such an incredible, driven, strong woman that I took a lot of guidance from her. And because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, I was drawn to women that had, their careers going. And my aunt, she is also a very, very like a trailblazer in her industry. And, I took a lot of inspiration from her hustle and just how incredible the achievements is that she's made just through pure hard work, not knowing anyone in her industry. And the same with one of my best friends here in Cape Town from Varsity. She's got a single mom, and her mom is also so incredible and works for, she's had some incredible jobs, but they lived in Switzerland for quite some time. So her mom still does work for, international companies remotely. And it's just been incredible to see how much she's been able to provide for her family and have her career and have her personal life. So that's from a personal life front. And then there's a lot of people in the industry that I really admire. And, when I have the opportunity to talk to them, I'll let them know, like, hey, you've influenced me in such a positive way. And I think that's what I love about platforms like social media. You have the power to follow people that you like, and you have the power to unfollow people that make you feel bad about yourself. And I do that constantly, where I constantly look for people that inspire me to want to, keep doing good and keep staying me, and not get caught up in, the materialistic things and the status things, or putting up a facade just because of social media. So there's been so many mentors, and it's been incredible when I do get to meet some of them. Naturally, me being a massive Miss South Africa fan, a lot of the past Miss South Africas I've admired growing up, and it's been beautiful when I have had the opportunity to meet them. Even when we met the new Miss South Africa this morning on the show, I'm just so excited for her, because she's going to be that inspiration to thousands of girls.
Yeah. It's so cool. It's so cool. And with the industry, with you evolving and keep changing and keep growing, do you feel like the industry is missing something? Like, if it were up to you to make a change in the industry that would maybe make room for a different kind of people, or make room for more people, or if there were more opportunities in certain places, what would that be if you could change something about our industry?
So I think with this industry, the problem is because South Africa is so diverse and our interest is so vast, and, it's very difficult for certain shows that is successful in America to actually be successful here, only because our pool is so unique. So I really hope to see more truly South African shows that international companies and production houses want to buy the rights to. I hope to see that. I think as South Africans, we have such a unique way of just being us, our fashion sense, our music style. In so many levels, we are world class. But I don't know why we're waiting for America to set the trend before we follow it. And, we just need to, I think we need to believe a little bit more in ourselves. And what I would love to see also is the industry, just more opportunities. I think we have so many talented people that don't get the right opportunities, because the industry is sometimes so they want to go with someone that's got experience. I get that.
Yes,
Their
yes,
budget is limited. They want to go with someone that's got experience, but you need to give someone an opportunity to gain experience. And it's just, I wish that was a bit more open. I wish there was more opportunities for those who want to get their foot into this industry to make it possible.
yeah. That is so true, and I agree with you absolutely 100% because it's a conversation that I've had with different artists too. You see new movies come out or new stuff in South Africa produced, but it's the same faces being moved around all the time. So how do you gain in? And they say they want someone who's experienced and all of that, but they're not even giving you an opportunity. They don't even know that you could be that one person that just walked in, it's the first time or first year in the industry, like fresh from studying and be so amazing. But no, they rather go with who they know. So it's kind of hard to climb the ladder and break through because sometimes we don't even hear about these opportunities. We just see the production that's done. So it's like,
Because I would not have known about Presenter Search on 3 if it wasn't for the fact that I had enrolled in a little TV presenting course. And it was one of the guys there that said, hey, we've had about 2 lessons or 3 lessons. It was only a 6-week course. And week. So he was like, hey, I see there's this new show called Presenter Search on 3. They're looking for 3 new presenters on SABC3. Let's go as a class and audition for fun. And we're like, okay, let's go do that. And I remember he was the first one in line. I still went to the gym very early that morning and did my hair and makeup at the gym. I joined him and brought coffees along for us. Someone else brought breakfast along, and our little group gathered in the line and we went to the together. And we went for fun. But if it wasn't for me being able to say, yes, I'm going to go do that, I wouldn't have known there were other opportunities. And even for me, like for a while now, I've been dying to just try my hand at acting. I don't know if it's something I could be good at. I don't know anything because I don't know where to start. And I think there are a lot of people that want to get into radio or TV or podcasting or this and that, and they don't know where to start.
yeah.
And that's frustrating about that could be.
Yeah, no, that's so true. That's so true. And I'm glad these people like you, and there's so many people that I've had on the show, like on the show that's actually creating platforms or telling people, listen, if you're looking for advice or you're looking for information, that hit me up. I've got so much to share. I've learned so much, and I don't want you to go through some of the mistakes that I've been through. So yeah, there are more of us speaking up like that, and we just need more platforms where people can go on to, we don't have to know someone, know a friend. We can just go on to Google and just and then that puts you in line with some information that you need moving forward. And with you being a media personality, and like basically people basically know your life. We know when you're traveling, we know when you're in another country, we know so much, like we keep up with your life basically through the media and through the TV and all of that. So is there anything that people do not know about Zoë that will be like, oh, Zoë, for real? Like, I don't know, something crazy like, I don't know how Zoë does, you don't know how to swim, you don't know how to ride a bike, or you love eating jam and jam and cheese. Do you someone that eat jam and cheese? Or can you cook? Is there anything about you that people don't know? They'd be like, oh, Zoë?
I don't know. I feel radio and TV, we're quite open books and we talk a lot. We sometimes forget actually how much you share. But let me think. I think a thing that surprises people sometimes is perhaps that I'm naturally more on a quiet side and I'm not a very loud person. Let me be a surprise. I think I have big dreams and big ambitions, and I don't sleep as much as I probably should, and I'm slightly a perfectionist, and I love DIY, but that's not news, if I can put it that way.
Are you someone like who's like OCD? Are you like someone who's very OCD?
I don't know. I mean, I went and was supposed to be in bed early last night, and I was in the kitchen because I just moved, so I'm in the process of unpacking, and I bought myself a label maker. So I was busy putting labels on all the jars to tell me that there's chia seeds in there, and that's the oats, and I bought more jars today. So definitely, I don't know if that qualifies as OCD. I'm very organized. I don't think I'm anal. I'm just very organized, and I function better when there's no chaos.
Absolutely. Well, that's fair. That's fair, and that makes sense. I mean, just you have to know where things are happening, and things are because like you said, you have a very busy lifestyle. You can't have things that are out of place, especially when it comes to your own personal space. That has to be in order because everything else you can't control. So you have to be ready for that. And you don't want to come home and you have to, oh my word, what's going on here as well. So Zoe, brings me to my final question with you. I've had such a good time chatting to you, and I hope that you've enjoyed yourself also on the show. And I know you have to get home as well, so I don't want to keep it too long. But I have my final question that I have to ask you, and that I ask every guest that comes onto the Price of Fame. I'm gonna put you into my time machine, right? And I'm gonna take you all the way back to the very, very young Zoe that started, just stepped into this industry and all of that stuff, not knowing what is in store for her. And it's the Zoe of today. It's the Zoe who I'm sitting to, right? Having walked the journey that you've walked, having learned all the challenges and having learned all the lessons and all of that stuff. And you have 5 minutes to speak to the younger Zoe and you can give her advice. What would that advice be?
I'll definitely reinforce the younger Zoe that, what happened to your parents it's a growth opportunity. It's not supposed to like hold you back in life. I would tell her that she is enough. She doesn't need to feel the need to constantly have to people please. She doesn't need to overwork herself because she feels the need to do better and be better. She is enough. And I would love to tell younger Zoe that she must continue to always dream big, never to become stagnant, to never not say yes to opportunities because she's scared. I would encourage young Zoe to just say yes and figure out the rest later. And I also want to say to young Zoe that, you know what, there will come, when it comes to relationships, you will find people that are, for a lack of a better word, frogs. And there will be some Prince Charmings in your life. And that's okay. Each of those things are lessons you need to learn. People will come into your life for seasons or reasons, and I think it's going to be up to you to determine what it's going to be. And I would love to tell young Zoe to not hold on to the past, not to hold any grudges. Shake it off, let it go, and you'll be better for it. You'll become a better person for it by moving on and not allowing any injustice that took place or anyone that hurt you in the past to bring you down. And you can forgive. You don't necessarily have to forget, but you do have to move on and you need to move forward. So yeah, I would just love to tell young Zoe not to waste her time on other people's opinions if they're not going to be brave with their own life. Because to put yourself takes bravery. And in order to be brave, you have to feel vulnerable, and that's okay.
So amazing. That is honestly so amazing, and I love it because if we're being real now, a lot of people, like if we actually look into our lives, and most of us are acting out the wounded inner child, because of the things that happened to us and all of those things. And that sounds like such a beautiful, comforting message that you would give to the younger Zoe, the inner child of you who dealt with those challenges and didn't know how to process it at the time, So it would be so perfect, and it would be such a beautiful thing, actually, if you could go back in real life, and just tell her these things, just to comfort her and help her process what's going through. And I think that's something that we all need to do, We all owe ourselves that, to go back and just like forgive ourselves for not being able to understand what we were dealing with, and why. And it's probably why we do certain things today. We certainly have certain habits today and all of that because of the inner child. So it's a beautiful message that you gave. And that's just the image that I could picture, actually, that you actually literally healing the younger Zoe and with those comforting words. And I wish that more people could learn from this. So thank you so much for that beautiful message and everything. Before I let you go, is there anything else that you would love to say?
It's been a tough year, and I know a lot of people are suffering from fatigue. I'm one of them, but you know what? We in this. We basically in this pandemic. Let's make the most of it. Let's just, I think we need to live a little. We need to really just, do what makes us happy. So if I can encourage you who's watching right now is to just check in with yourself. If you're someone like me that tends to be a bit of a people pleaser by nature, then check in with yourself and ask yourself, when something comes along, do you really want to do it? Is it a yes or a no? And then do that. Please yourself first. And often, especially as women, we put other people first, and then it comes at the cost of yourself. So I would love you to just constantly check in with yourself and actually be your true, authentic self, and really just embrace how you feel. And it's okay if the feelings aren't necessarily what you thought it would be.
Zoe, you're an amazing person. Like, again, and I will say this again, thank you so much for coming on to the show. You've shared so much, and I've learned so much from your story. It's lit up so many bulbs in my mind, and just picturing everything and going through the journey. I feel like I know such a rich part of you after speaking to you tonight. So thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for being open book and being such an inspiration as well. I mean, you took this interview straight after your job. You're like, and I'm out and I'm in over here. And you gave me energy as if you didn't spend energy at all today. You know, that smile has been maintained the whole hour. So thank you so much. You're an amazing person. So to get more people to follow you on your journey, to be part of what what the things that you're going to achieve, and just to see the growth with the whole acting that you want to pursue, can you please let us know all about your social handles? Where can we find you? Where can we get more in tune with your life and just be a positive cheerleaders, on your journey?
Thank you so much. So you can catch me on radio. That is every weekday from 3 to 7 p.m. on the FlashDrive. That's on KFM 94.5 in Cape Town. And I'm on Expresso SABC3 every morning from 6 till 9. Not every morning, but our show is Monday to Friday. And then on social media, it's ZB Zoë Brown. That's ZOEBROWN. And that's on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I have had my moments where I didn't post a lot, and then I have my moments where I overshare a lot. So it is a journey. It's one of those things. But yeah, you'll see me.
Absolutely. Zoe, thank you so much. Like I said, you've been a blessing. I don't want to hold you anymore. You've given me over enough. I'm sure you've given the guests also a lot. And I'm looking forward to seeing your growth. And hopefully one day we will bump into each other and share the stage in whatever, platform. So thank you so much, Zoe. May you have a lovely evening, and may you get home safely. Good night to you.
I appreciate it. And thank you for having me on your podcast.
Some stuff. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, cool, ladies and gents. There you have it from myself, and then you have it from Zoe. And like I said, the competition is still running. Lag my klaar. That is the competition of Dison and CakeNet that are running competition together. If you have a 2-minute funny video, guys, if you want to be, if you're an aspiring comedian and you feel like you have a funny joke that's within 2 minutes and you feel like you can send it through, we will drop the link in the comments section to the competition. It's already begun. We already have some contestants. If you want to be part of that, I would say do not waste no more time. It's lag my klaar. Look out for it. The link will be dropped in the comment section. My part in the competition is to be one of the mentors, one of the comedic mentors. I'm excited. I've seen my beeps, and yeah, I'm looking forward to what this will turn out to be. So keep your eyes and ears peeled. Watch the song and watch CakeNet, because it's going to be awesome. Right. Further than that, you can catch me on Facebook. That is Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. That is Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. That's where I post most of my gigs and everything that I'm getting up to as a comedian and as an MC. And on Instagram, you can follow me at Lunga Tshuka. That is at Lunga Tshuka. And if you want exclusive snippets of The Price of Fame and episodes of The Price of Fame on Instagram as well, you can go to The Price of Fame ZA. That is The Price of Fame ZA. In the link of the bio, you can click the link, which will take you straight to my YouTube page. This is probably episode 30. I don't know what episode this is because I just keep on going. But this is not the first episode. If you'd like to see the journey and all the other people and all the other stars that have such an amazing stories, if you want to catch up on their stories and on their episodes as well, you can go to my YouTube page. Please like and subscribe when you are there. That's it from me, ladies and gents. My name is Lunga Tshuka. I've been your host, and this is The Price of Fame.